Hey Hebrew fans, this is Todd, and today we are going to fix this figure. Alright, so let me go ahead and tell you guys a little story. So when I got this figure, I got it for two reasons. One, I wanted the box. I was just going to buy a box. But then this guy had this figure with a broken leg, and I thought, you know what, I've fixed broken legs before. But then when I got him, I noticed not only was his leg broken, but so were both his ankles. I'm like, what? Both his ankles are broken?
What?
No way, this is a good one. Usually the head is glued to the cape and you get all kinds of paint marks and everything else on there. There's a little bit of paint marks, but not like usual, where it's just crazy full of paint on the back. Now his cape is actually glued on there. As you can see, it actually goes all the way into the hole in his back. Oh, you know what? This one, they didn't glue. Wow, this is going to make this really easy to fix. Hooray!
Famous last words.
I have found Molar is a really close match for King Grayskull. And so I like to use Molar when I can for fixing these parts, because when you put them together, you're going to hardly even notice that there's a difference between the figures. Now normally you take and you slice this up like that on the side, break all the glue on there, and then you got to pull his head off, pull his arm off, and then work this all the way off to the side. And then pull off the legs, the arms, the loin cloth. The head, of course, is already off because you pulled this off. And then you have that piece left. The problem is his loin cloth is blue underneath. Blue, and his is brown. Now, normally it's not a problem because it's a longer loin cloth, but once in a while you're taking pictures, you'll get a glimpse going diagonal where you see this blue coming into the picture. And it's like, ah, that looks horrible. Horrible. So, what you do... Hey Hero fans, this is Todd. So last I left you guys, I was working on this King Grayskull and the paint got scraped off on the bottom here. So I went and repainted this a couple times and put on different clear coats over the top of it. Basically I mixed a little bit of brown, a little bit of red, and gave me the right color that matches the castle or the King Grayskull boots and loincloth color. So I used this brown right here and I used this red right here. So let's go ahead and unmask him. The unmasking! And come on, King Grayskull. Get unmasked. There we go. It's funny, it looks like Command D with the blue tape on there. It's Command D from DC Comics. I was a huge fan of Command D when I was a kid. It's one of the comics I used to collect. I used to love Planet of the Apes too, so I used to love Tarzan, so Commandy was like Tarzan meets Planet of the Apes. It was a pretty cool comic for those that don't know what Commandy is. I actually have the Commandy DC figure. I actually used one of the Commandy DC figures to make a Prince Adam. There we go. All the tape is off now. Put that closed. I also did some slight touch-ups around the ankles where the paint came off on the sides when I was putting those on there. So that looks way better now too. And for those that missed the main video, basically this King Grayskull came with a broken hip. Oh! So I took this figure here and swapped out all the parts. The arms, the legs, the head, the armor. And there we go. Now, the next step I did was this cape had some issues. One issue is the bump here, so I took these cool scissors here and sliced that bump right off. These scissors work great for that.
And I thought I was done. But no, this is the King Grayskull that just keeps on giving.
So, I was looking at this King Grayskull. I just finished. I just had a video literally less than half an hour ago saying, he's all done. I'm so excited. And Mike says, I'm going to bid on him, Todd. And so I'm looking at him and I'm kind of moving his articulation. And all of a sudden I look at this arm and it's like, something's not right. It just looks weird. Is it malformed or what's going on? And then I pull this arm up and I realize he's got two right biceps. No! It's like, can this figure vex us anymore?
So the next step was to fix those loose ankles. So I made these little washer pieces that I printed on my printer with brown plastic, and they fit right in there. Now, unfortunately, I videotaped actually putting these in and heating them up and putting them back together, and I didn't push record when I did it. But it's kind of cool. These little washers right here just fit right in there. And on this one, I actually put two, one on each side, and I printed them at all different lengths. Or not lengths, but thicknesses to see how they work. Basically, I put it in, heat it up. I didn't want to use water since I painted the foot just recently and fixed all the spots. I figured the water would ruin the paint job. And that's pretty much it, and pushed it back together. And now he can stand on his own. The next thing is the cape. I went and put a whole bunch of coats of paint on here. I used more of a flat matte kind of finish. And I actually painted it earlier, as you guys saw who were following the videos. But the 2 coats I put on just wasn't enough. This actually has 7 or 8 coats on it. And I went ahead and masked it so I wouldn't cause any damage. I could keep going to the garage and painting it and waiting and painting it and waiting. And it's not sticky at all now. So kind of cool. And as I pointed out before, I cut the little tab, so it is ready to go on him. So I'm kind of excited about finally putting him together completely with tighter ankles, all the pieces. Now, of course, his left forearm is still not correct, but it's not that bad. I'm fine at that now that the bicep itself is fixed. So like I mentioned before, this figure was so much of a pain to get it. Now that cape's a little heavier, so even though I put the washers in there, it still wanted to fall. And there he is in all his glory, King Grayskull. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I will see you guys next video. And like they say in the 1987 movie, good journey. Bye now.
If you found enjoyment, like, subscribe, and ring the bell. Do it!